Guys, come back and enjoy Black Mountain, Montreat, and the Swannanoa Valley in future occasions, and stop by here if you haven't been by here recently. I want to thank especially Janet and Monroe Jones, Stephen Francesito for hosting us out here. They've been very kind and gracious, invited their friends and neighbors, and hopefully I won't diminish their reputations too much by having you guys, disappointing you guys too much. So thank you, Stephen Fran and Janet Monroe. My brother is not here. He is, we have a dairy farm. We milk about 170 cows in Fairview, just across the mountain range here. The back side of Blue Ridge Assembly is Fairview. And early in the morning, oftentimes, you can hear the train come through Swannanoa. So it's amazing how sound will travel. So we get finished milking about 8:30. So he's the reason we haven't gone bankrupt yet milking cows. So and my father was unable to be here as well. I want to thank everyone for your support, all the work you have done. You know, a campaign is never an individual matter. It certainly takes your family and everyone working together. And so I just want to thank you guys so much for showing up and taking some time out of a beautiful Tuesday evening in the summer to come by and to visit. You know, Black Mountain and Swannanoa and this part of the county have a special place in our history. And you know, Mr. Davidson was supposedly the first white settler, came up from Old Fort, came into Swannanoa. The Indians ran him back, and he lost his life, and his family went back to McDowell County. But in December 1879, the railroad came to Buncombe County and came through the Swannanoa Gap up Old Fort Mountain and really opened Buncombe County up. And that shortly thereafter, George Vanderbilt rode the train, came to Asheville, sat out on the Battery Park Hotel, decided he wanted to build, the Biltmore here. The same was the opening when Charles D. Owen came and decided to relocate their company from Connecticut, and over the years employed thousands of people in the Swannanoa Valley to making blankets, and this was the blanket capital of the world. And you guys know you're a little closer to heaven out here, not only because of Pastor Taylor, but the folks in Black Mountain and Montreat, the higher elevation, just at the shadow of Mount Mitchell, which is where I proposed to my wife almost 7 years ago, and she, to her detriment, said yes. So, home to probably some of our most famous residents of Buncombe County, Dr. Graham and George Beverly Shea. So I'm not going to sing How Great Thou Art this evening. I know I'll run you off from that. But
you should.
But I do sing to our cows. That might explain why we perhaps don't get as much milk as we should. I want to introduce some of the folks that keep me out of trouble on a daily basis. About 2 years ago, 2009 was a terrible year in the dairy business, and my wife, after about a year, said, "You need to get a job. You're working 80 hours a week, not getting paid. You need to get a job, get paid." And so former Mayor of Hendersonville, Greg Newman, who went to Reynolds, and I hope the folks out here in the Owen District don't hold that against me. He said, "Why don't you come down and practice law with us, Nathan?" And so I did that. And so Greg Newman, Ron Blanchard is here, Lucy and Teresa. So thank you so much for you guys driving all the way out this way. I apologize, Judge Thornburg, for calling you an assistant DA. He is the resident Superior Court Judge for Buncombe County, and is doing a great job on the bench. Served us in the Court of Appeals, worked at UNC Asheville in Western Carolina, and his family has a long legacy of excellence in the legal profession. If any of our attorneys appear before you, Judge, please have a little amnesia about tonight. I had the honor of serving 8 years as chairman of the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners. In 2000, I was elected by 741 votes out of about 90,000 cast. I was 32 years old at the time, and former Chairman Sobel, who's a wonderful person and served on the Board of Commissioners, was formerly with the town of Black Mountain, won by just 741 votes. And my joke was I won that office by twice as many votes as President Bush won the state of Florida. But it just emphasizes that elections, that one vote really does matter. It does make a big difference. And you know, I think over the last several years, we've gone through an economic recession that has tried the best of our souls. And really, my generation, it's the first time that any of us have had difficulty in finding a job. There's always been jobs available. It's a question of people willing to work. Well, this is really probably the first time that in our lifetimes that has not been the case. And so we're facing a very difficult time. And hopefully we can turn the corner. But you know, I think state government does many important things for the people of North Carolina. And if you look at our history, after the Great Depression, the modern state government was formed. That's when the state DOT took over the county roads because we had local governments that were broke, and they had school systems that couldn't afford to pay their employees. So the modern state government was reformed, and really what we've done over the years is placed sort of a patch over different problems without fundamentally saying, you know, what's the best way to deliver higher education. Our university system, community college, and K-12 that we so desperately depend on. How's the best way for us to fund our highways and infrastructure and support work with local governments in our cities and counties all throughout the state? So I would hope, if elected, and saw Bill Stanley this morning, who I had the honor of serving on the Board of Commissioners with, and he gave me the best marital advice of anyone. He said he and his wife have been married over 50 years. He said every argument ended in yes ma'am. So for the last 7 years, I don't think we've ever had an argument, but if we did, it certainly ended in yes ma'am. But Bill said don't forget your local government roots. And at the end of the day, services aren't delivered in Washington and Raleigh, they're delivered right in your community. And so unfortunately, a lot of times people in government feel like they're the ones that should make those decisions instead of trusting local people who know best what to do with their community. So I hope we can make those changes to make North Carolina the most economically competitive state in this country. At the end of the day, that's what's going to get us out of this recession. I mean, government is an important role, but we can't just through adding more debt and more spending get us out from the government standpoint. It's going to be small business owners like the good folks here at the Monte Vista who have taken a risk, invested their hard-earned life savings, taking on debt to build their dreams. And that's what it takes, one business at a time, you grow your small business into a medium business, size business, or a larger business and employ people. And that's what it's going to take to get us out of this mess we're in. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming. There's cards, there's contact information. Feel free to call us anytime. And any concerns you may have. This is going to be a very tight campaign. We're going to have to raise a decent amount of money. Unfortunately, we all have less money than we did several years ago, but campaigns haven't changed in the cost. Unfortunately, it's gone up. So I appreciate the sacrifices you guys have made by investing in our campaign. I know how important that is, and we're truly grateful. And I was thinking, I don't want to, since I graduated from Reynolds, the Reynolds-Owen rivalry is a really intense rivalry, and I hope the folks at the Swannanoa Valley don't hold that against me. But I want you to remind you guys, when I was at Reynolds, we lost to Owen in football, and your quarterback was Brad Johnson. So I think y'all had the upper hand. I think Owen and we play at Reynolds this year, and it's so it's on August 31st. So I'm sure that'll be an exciting game. But outside of that, I hope you guys don't hold that against me. I'm going to now introduce Congressman Patrick McHenry. And I apologize. I speak too much, talk too little. Talk too little, speak too much, and think too little. But Congressman McHenry represents the 10th District in North Carolina. He was elected in 2004. He's from Gaston County. Good guy down there. Sisters of Mercy have been watching him down in Gaston County. And we had the sisters up here at St. Joseph, and there are still a few sisters in our community, and we know that they're eagle eyes and they keep you out of trouble. As you know, the state legislature has changed the congressional districts, and part of Buncombe County is now in the 10th district. So this area does include the area for Congressman McHenry. He's running against Patsy Keever, who had the honor of serving 4 years on the Board of Commissioners. And Patsy is a wonderful person. I got to know her first husband, who passed away with cancer after a difficult battle, and she means very well. But I think at the end of the day, to solve the problems that our nation faces, as I said earlier, it's not more spending and more debt. It's going to be helping private sector companies build jobs. And I think, you know, the proposals that Congressman McHenry stands for are the best fit to help Buncombe County, help North Carolina, to get us out of this mess. So before he speaks, I want to give him a little gift for him coming up the mountain. There is an anthem gallery here in Black Mountain, and they have selected some artwork, and so we're going to present to him this artwork, and it's of the Black Mountain Range. It includes Mount Mitchell, and we always hear 7 sisters, and so to remind him that Buncombe County is the most beautiful part of his district. And this was completed by a local artist, and they were very kind to allow us to present this to the Congressman. So, Congressman, thank you for coming up here, and thank you for your service.